Now, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This is WOR, New York, the mutual station that brings you the World Series and other top sports events the year round.
This is Jim Britt back at Braves Field in Boston, where on the top of the fourth, Johnny Sain will have to pitch his way by Boudreau, Gordon, and Keltner. Cleveland shortstop, second baseman, and third baseman. Three-quarters of a very potent infield. The last time Cleveland won an American League championship was back in 1920. And in the series that followed, they beat Brooklyn in 5 out of 7 games. That was a great series, and old-timers will remember the unassisted triple play by Bill Wamsgans and Elmer Smith's grand slam and Stanley Kovaleski's 3 5-hitters. Boudreau fouled to left field his last time at that. He bats from a peculiar right-handed crouch. Johnny Sain fires one, and there's a high foul ball that's drifting out of play into the stands for strike one. That dropped right out of the bunting of one of the flags that flanks the first base Skyview seat. They have Skyview seats at Braves Field. It is not a double-deck affair. 1 strike to count. Sain gets his sign. The outfield is set to the left. Here it comes. Close and fast for a ball. Boudreau got his head out of the way, and the count is 1-1. Lou posed with the very attractive Mrs. Boudreau with her orchid and all just before the game. The pitch. A high foul ball. That's drifting into the first base stands, out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The newsreel men are all atop the press box, so that actually there are 3 levels from the spectator and press coverage point of view, but it is a single-deck structure, and there are no center field or left field bleachers. The only bleachers is called the jury box out in right field, and it holds only 1,800. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Boudreau waits for the pitch, and he strikes out. A curveball. Let her high. Boudreau struck out. That is the 3rd strikeout for Sain. Here's Joe Gordon. He was called out on a strike. A curveball that caught the outside corner his last time. One man out. Joe Gordon, the second baseman, up. Nobody on in the Cleveland 4th inning. Gordon hit the ground foul down the third baseline. Foul by not much, about 4 or 5 feet, that's all. 1 strike. No score in the game. Ken Keltner singled in the second inning, and in the third inning, Keegan reached on an error by Elliott and stole second. He's the only man so far to have reached second base. The outfield is deep to the left, the infield over to the left. Sain pitches, and there's a long foul ball that goes into the left field pavilion. That's the longest ball of the ball game. That would have been all the way out of the ballpark had he not pulled it so much. 2 strikes. Sankey is playing about 20 feet to the right of second base. Sain winds up. He fires one, and there's a ground ball that goes by dark for a single to left center field. And Gordon has the second Cleveland hit of the ball game. The throw in goes to the shortstop. He just leaned into one. Ken Keltner, the batter. That's the second hit. Keltner singled to left his last time up. He hit a line drive over the head of Bob Elliott. Gordon leads off first. Inside, that one very nearly hit Keltner. He had to spin to get out of the way. He was trying to take a toe hold, and Sain threw one close to the whiskers. 1 ball, no strikes. Cleveland has 2 hits. The Braves have committed 1 error, and Hegan has stolen 1 base. But it's 0-0, 4th inning, 1 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch to Keltner, and there's a drive down the left field line, and it's a foul ball by about 8 inches. And there is one of the reasons why the commissioners insisted on foul line umpires. The third base umpire, Bill Greed, gave the sign, but so did the left field umpire, Joe Paparella. That was outside by about 8 inches. Keltner missed an extra base hit, and it's conceivable that Cleveland just missed the first run of the ball game. Gordon had started to go, and the count now is 1-1. Keltner's season's average was .299. He hit his 31st home run in the playoff game at Fenway Park on Monday. There's the stretch by Sain. The pitch. Strike called. Curveball. 1-2. Gordon is being given his running directions by Mel Harder. Harder looks toward the dugout. There's a stretch by Sane. Gordon leads off first. Here's the pitch. And there's a foul ball down the left field line. Fouled by a great many feet. Rickert went over and it dropped into the field boxes, and the usual scramble followed. It's a scoreless World Series opening game. We're in the first half of the fourth inning. And the only activity so far has been produced by the Indians from an offensive point of view, with 2 hits and cashing in one Braves error briefly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch, foul ball, back into the press scoop. One and two. Red Barber scooped up that, by the way. A souvenir baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Gordon leads off first. There he goes. Strike 3. It's a strike 3 and a stolen base. There goes a throw to first base, but that's just a precaution. For an instant, I think the fans suspected that was a foul ball, but the plate umpire, George Barr, very alertly said, no foul, strike 3, but the ball was dropped by Salkeld, and Gordon is credited with a stolen base. That's the 4th strikeout for Sane. Walt Judnick is the batter. Judnick is a left-hander. His first time up, he lined out to right fielder Tommy Holmes. So for the second time, the Indians have a runner on second. Here's the pitch. Strike called, a curveball. So far, both pitchers have been in excellent form. Judnick's season's average was .257. He's deep in the box. There's the pitch. Low, and he fell away from it. 1-1. Sane tried to tease him to go after a bad curveball, a low one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cleveland so far has stolen 2 bases. 1 base was stolen on Sane, the other when a 3rd strike was dropped. The pitch. There goes a fly ball to right field. Tommy Holmes is coming in under it, and it should be easy for him. Out number 3, as Judnick for the second time flies to Holmes. No runs for the Indians in the 4th. 1 hit, no errors, 1 left, and a stolen base by Gordon. The score is 0-0. You expect Gillette, with factories throughout the world and unmatched technical knowledge and facilities, to make shaving as easy and convenient as possible in order to maintain leadership. Naturally, Gillette technicians work constantly to improve Gillette razors and blades. Take the new Gillette Super Speed razor. It's a radical improvement over the finest razor money could buy at series time last year. It outmodes and outperforms any other razor you ever saw. For instance, it has a notched positioning bar for use with the Gillette dispenser. Zip out a blade, hook it in place, twist, and the razor closes. Yes, and what shaves you get. See it. You'll buy it. Try it. You'll swear by it. Ask for the improved Gillette Super Speed razor plus 10-blade Gillette dispenser. Big $1.50 value for $1. Cleveland so far has no runs, 2 hits. The Braves have made the game's only error, and the Indians have left the game's only 3 base runners. In the last half of the 4th inning, the Braves will get their second look at rapid Robert Feller, Cleveland's fireballing ace. Tommy Holmes flied to center his first time at bat. He's a left-hander, and Feller gets set to pitch to him. Here it comes. Curveball, low and outside. Feller is an artist, a baseball pitching artist, and the coordination with which he works is beautiful to watch. He's a magnificently conditioned athlete, and he regards baseball as a highly successful profession. He pitches. There's a ground ball right back to him. He turns around, waits, throws to first for the out. He made Tommy run. Took plenty of time. That's his first assist. Holmes grounding out to the mound, and shortstop Alvin Dark comes up. Dark is one of the fastest men in baseball. His first time at bat, he very nearly beat out a hit, but Eddie Robinson slid into the bag after fielding it unassistedly. 1 man out and none on. The outfield is playing Dark straight away. The windup by Feller, the pitch. Fastball for a strike. That was a Feller fireball. That came over letter high. Bob hasn't been close to walking anyone so far and has 2 strikeouts. He struck out Torgerson on a called strike in the first, and Salkeld went down swinging in the second. Here's the windup. Dark sets himself, and he hits the ground ball that goes to Gordon. Gordon comes up with it. There's a quick throw to first for the out. Nice play. That ball was about as hard hit as any the Braves have hit, but it was fielded flawlessly by the great Cleveland second baseman. Earl Torgeson, left-handed first baseman up. He was called out on strikes as Feller sneaked a curveball over the inside on him his first time at bat in the first inning. Feller has retired 11 consecutive Braves. The outfield moves around to the left a little with Torgeson up because of the wind blowing in. The pitch outside, that was an overhand curveball. Lou Boudreau, you know, was the originator of the Ted Williams shift, and he seems to have the knack for placing his infielders with an almost uncanny premonition as to where the ball is hit. That's been largely responsible. The pitch, fastball, moving Torgeson out of there. 2-0. Torgie steps back in again. His boyhood idol was Earl Averill, the Earl of Snohomish. They both came from the same town, but now Torgeson resides in Natick, Massachusetts. Feller hasn't his signage yet. Hegan is doing his catching from a crouch. He straightens up just a little. Here's the pitch. Ball 3. There's the first 3-0 count Bob has had in the ball game. 2 men out for the Braves in the fourth inning, and Torgeson has a count of 3 balls, no strikes. Feller rubs up the cover of the ball, spins it in his glove a little. The Feller windup, and the pitch. Strike called. 3-1, like threading a needle. Bob Elliott, the on-deck batter. So far, Cleveland has had 2 base runners on second. They both got there by stealing. Jim Hegan was the first, Joe Gordon was the second, but neither team has put a runner as far as third. 3 balls, 1 strike. Torgeson bends his knees slightly. He bats from a left-handed crouch. Here it comes. Ball 4, and there's the first Boston base runner. It is also the first base on balls of the series. Bob Elliott comes up. He flied out to right field his last time. Elliott is the number 4 man in the batting order. His nickname, as far as his teammates are concerned, is Mr. Team, a tribute to his Most Valuable Player award of last year. Two men out. Torgeson is a very fast base runner, so you may speculate on whether or not Billy Southworth will tell him to try to pilfer a base and set up a run. He was thrown out only once this year. He stole his first 18 bases without interference. Time called. Elliott's rubbing some dirt onto the handle of the bat, then drying his hands on his uniform trousers. Feller pitching from a stretch for the first time. Strike called. Fastball. He threw that one, let her high. Torgeson is being held close at the bag by first baseman Eddie Robinson. There's no score in the last half of the fourth inning. Keltner and Gordon have the only hits of the game. Feller takes his stretch. Torgeson leads off first base. He draws a throw, but there's no tag. And Robinson returns it to the mound as Keltner comes over to back up. That's an automatic task assigned to a third baseman. There's another throw to first base, a little quicker this time, but still no tag. Feller, realizing that Torgeson is capable of stealing a base if he's given too much of a lead on the pitcher's throw, is trying to keep him close. 1 strike. Torgeson has a long lead. Swing and a miss. Fastball. Feller really fired that one. Feller has looked more and more like the Bob Feller of old in the last month and a half. You know, he won 7 straight ball games and came a cropper only against the great Hal Newhouser. That was what forced the playoff at Fenway Park. But Gene Bearden pitched a magnificent 5-hitter, and the Indians played great team ball to win going away. 2 strikes the count. There goes Torgeson bluffs. Comes back, and it's high and wide. Ball 1. Torgeson broke, and then immediately dug in and returned. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a little track worn in on the first base line, about 30 feet, where Torgie has been dancing out toward second and then coming back as the situation demands. Feller has thrown over twice to try to keep him close. There are 2 men out, fourth inning, and no score. There goes Torgeson. It's outside. There's the throw. Stolen base. The throw was on the right side of second and high. Boudreau took it, but Torgeson has stolen a base, the 3rd stolen base of the game. The Indians have stolen 2. The count on Elliott, 2-2. Egan didn't have much of a chance to make a good throw on it because Feller's pitch was so wide. The roar of the crowd tells you, of course, that the majority of the fans here at Braves Field is naturally a Braves crowd. There are baseball figures from all over the United States, and when we move out to that huge lakefront stadium in Cleveland, the roar will be even greater when the Indians attempt to rally. Torgerson now on second. 2 men out, 2-2 on Elliott. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball to left field that should be easy for Mitchell. He's running over toward the foul line, and he takes it. He had to step because the wind tried to break it down. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 walk, a stolen base, and a runner left. So, at the end of 4 innings of play, the Cleveland Indians have 2 hits. The Braves have an error. The Braves have left 1 runner, and Cleveland has left 3. Going into the first half of the 5th inning of a good pitcher's duel, Robinson, Hegan, and Feller, the last 3 men in the Cleveland batting order, will be up. For a rousing time, get your friends together Friday night and enjoy a corking good scrap on Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports. Yes, for the major boxing event of the week, tune in Gillette's Cavalcade of Sports Friday night. Consult your newspaper for local time and station. I know that Mel and the other members of our broadcasting crew will agree when I tell you that the setup here physically, as far as broadcasting is concerned, is as good as there is. Men who have broadcast World Series from all the stadia in the United States were overwhelmed when they saw the way the Braves had set us up. The view is perfect. Eddie Robinson grounded to first his last time. He's a left-hander. The pitch, foul ball, back into the screen for strike 1. Salkeld lost that for an instant, looked up in the air thinking the ball might be directly overhead. Eddie Robinson is a tall, husky Texan. And he's an excellent leather man. He's wearing a bandage on his right thumb. Lou Boudreau is wearing a bandage on his right thumb. Jammed it slightly, but insists it's not serious. 1 strike to count. Here's the pitch from Sain, and there goes a little fly ball to right field. Holmes coming in fast for it, and he takes it. Nice running catch. Looked for an instant as though that might be a Texas leaguer, but the wind held it up so that Holmes was able to run over towards the right field foul line and grab it. So Robinson flies out to right field. He has no hits in 2 trips. And Jim Hegan, the Cleveland catcher, comes up. He got a life in the 3rd inning when Elliott booted his ground ball, and then he stole second and was left. He's a right-hander. Sain delivers. There goes a drive to left for a hit. The 3rd Cleveland hit of the game. Hegan is rounding first. The throw in from Rickert makes it a single. That's the 3rd hit Sain has yielded in 4 1/3 innings. So Hegan is the only man in the game who has twice reached. And Bob Feller comes down the path to the tune of the applause. He touched his cap as it started with an opportunity to enhance his own cause. His first time up, Bob tried to sacrifice, and then with a count 1 ball, 2 strikes, he struck out. He's a right-hander. There's the pitch. There's the bunt. And it goes fair. The throw is to first base with Torgerson taking it for a sacrifice. Hegan going to second. The ball was just inside the 3rd base line. It was fielded by Salkeld, thrown to Torgerson, the first baseman. And that is the 3rd Indian to reach second. Hegan has twice reached. And Dale Mitchell, left-handed batting left fielder, is up with a runner on second. 2 men out. Mitchell flied to center fielder Mike McCormick his first time, and his second time in the 3rd inning. His foul pop-up was taken by 3rd baseman Bob Elliott. So he has none in 2. He's left-handed. Sain stretches. Pitches. Overhand curveball outside. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. The outfield is set to the left. There's a wide open hole in right center field. Sain takes a stretch. He delivers it. And there's a fly ball that's drifting toward left center field. Rickert is under it, the left fielder, and he takes it to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 4 1/2 innings of play, the score is 0-0. Believe me, shaving's really something when you prepare your whiskers with Gillette shaving cream and ease them off with a Gillette Blue Blade and your Gillette razor. Gillette shaving creams, both lather and brushless, remove moisture-resisting oil from your beard almost instantly. Every bristle gets soaked through and through pronto. That makes shaving a cinch. Now, listen to this. Both Gillette brushless and Gillette lather contain K34. This amazing facial antiseptic destroys 85% to 99% of all dangerous bacteria on and beneath outer layers of the skin. So shaving the modern all-Gillette way makes your face surgically clean. Yes, as clean as the scientifically scrubbed hands of a surgeon. Men, for utmost shaving luxury, plus the cleanest face you've ever had, use Gillette shaving cream, lather or brushless, a quarter. Only Gillette shaving creams contain K34. And now, for the next 4.5 innings of the play-by-play description of the opener of this 1948 World Series, while the umpires confer with Bob Feller, the pitcher, and shortstop manager Lou Boudreau over something, it is a great pleasure again to present my All-Star Game colleague, Mel Allen.
Thank you very much, Jim. Hello once again, everybody. Whatever the discussion was at the mound with Boudreau, Feller, plate umpire George Barr, and first base umpire Bill Summers, it's all over. Perhaps something concerning the style delivery that Bobby Feller is employing. That's just a guess from this point high above the playing field. At any rate, we're all set to go now in the last half of the fifth inning of the scoreless ball game. And leading off for the Boston Braves in the last half of the fifth inning is Mar Brickett, a left-hand hitter who flied to center in the second inning. There's a boy who never realized he'd be playing in a World Series this year. Because of Jeff Heath's injury, Brickett was recalled by the Braves and given special permission. Bob Feller throws outside the fastball, and the count is 1 ball, no strikes on Mar Brickett. Batted over 300 with Milwaukee in the American Association. Went home. Billy Southworth sent out a hurried call. Said, come on. Finish up the season with us. Then he got special permission from Baseball Commissioner Chandler and with the consent of the Cleveland Indians to participate in the World Series. There's a pitch that's cut on and fouled back to the screen. Strike one. Count is evened up at 1-1. Mar Brickett the batter, with Bill Salkeld on deck and Mike McCormick to follow. No score in the last half of the fifth inning. First game of the 1948 World Series. A game that has been primarily a pitcher's duel thus far. A game that has not been productive of too many fireworks, too many exciting plays. But they'll come. Kind of a ball game that suddenly will explode and the crowd will roar. Bobby Feller into the windup, delivers. Mar Brickett swings and lines one past first out of the right field for a base hit. Judney goes over, fields the ball, whips his throw into second, and Rickard is on with a base hit to right field. A single. The first hit off Bob Feller. And just as we said, the crowd was waiting for something, then it happened. So Rickard lined one to the right of Eddie Robinson, in between first and second to right field. And the young man who had no idea at all of playing in this World Series gets his team's first hit in the World Series. And that brings to the plate Bill Salkeld, the left-hand hitting catcher for the Boston Braves. Batting at .244. Struck out in the second inning. Bobby Feller blows in his pitching hand. No score in the ball game. That's the Braves' first hit, so you can relax now if you had any attention about a possible no-hitter. Here's your pitch. It's the bunt out in front of the plate. Egan up for the ball. Flips it to Robinson for the out. Going down to second is Rickard. It's the sacrifice as Bill Salkeld bunts to the right of the plate, down the first base line. Egan pounced on the ball, whipped his throw to first in time to retire Salkeld, who is credited with the sacrifice. Rickard moves to second, puts him in scoring position, and brings to the plate Mike McCormick. Mike popped out to Lou Boudreau in the third inning. A .299 hitter on the season, a right-hand batter, who saw a World Series service with the Cincinnati Reds back around 1939 and 40. So the World Series has no unusual tension for him. Outfield plays him a step toward left. Infield shaded around toward third. Rickard with a short lead off second. Here's the pitch. Swung on. It's a high fly ball out into short center. Gordon goes out on the grass. Doby comes in. Joe calls for it. Makes the catch. Right in behind him were Doby and Walt Judnick. Holding second base is Rickard. Mike McCormick pops to Joe Gordon in short center. And now coming to bat is Eddie Stanky. Eddie bats him right-handed. Popped out to third baseman Kenny Keltner's first time up. He was certainly a spark plug in the 1947 World Series when he was playing second base for the Brooklyn Dodgers against the New York Yankees. And was a spark plug for the Braves the early part of the year until he broke his ankle. Right-hand batter swings and sends a little dribbler back to the mound, taken by Feller on 2 hops. He whips his throw over to Robinson in time for the out. That's all for the Braves' threat in the last half of the fifth inning. Stanky grounding out. The pitcher to the first baseman. Feller to Robinson. No runs for the Boston Braves. They got one hit. Their first hit off Feller. A ringing liner to right field by Marv Rickert. No errors for the Cleveland Indians, and one man left on for Boston. And thus the score at the end of 5 innings of play, 0-0. With your totals, the visiting Cleveland Indians, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. The host Boston Braves, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error. And so we're ready now to move into the top half of the 6th inning. And the Cleveland Indians will come up with Larry Doby, Lou Boudreau, and then Joe Gordon. Johnny Sain from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Folks down there mighty proud of him, as are baseball fans everywhere, because he's a great pitcher. Pine Bluff, Arkansas also is the home of Don Hudson, who made his mark in the football world. Johnny Sain all set to work. Larry Doby stepping in the hitting position. A scoreless ball game, and the thousands who have come to Braves Field today to watch this first game of the World Series are sitting back, somewhat relaxed. Not too much. They know something's going to happen pretty soon. It's got to, and they're just waiting for it. The right-hander, Johnny Sain, into the windup. In comes the pitch for the left-handed hitting Doby, who takes the curve inside for ball 1. Doby flied to center and grounded to short in his first 2 times at bat. Bill McKechnie, coaching at third base, walking up and down. Sain working rapidly, delivers an overhand fastball. It's swung on a broken bat. Bingle out over second, and Dark almost got it, but couldn't quite do it. The ball goes into center, and it's in there for a base hit. Up for the ball is Mike McCormick. He whips his throw back into second, and Doby is on with a broken bat single to center. Baseball players don't care whether they break their bats or not if they get their base hits. So Doby gets the single to center for the 4th Cleveland hit of the ball game, and that brings to the plate the manager, Lou Boudreau, who flied to left and struck out. There goes Doby. The hit and run is on. It's a ground ball hit to Stanky. He's up with it over to first base to Torgerson. In time for the out on Boudreau. No chance for the double play, as Lou put on the hit and run, and Doby was off and winging on the pitch. Boudreau trying to hit behind the runner into right field. Was unable to get it into the gap between first and second. Hit it to Eddie Stanky, whose only play was to first base. So there's one away. Doby's on second in scoring position, and the batter is Joe Gordon. Joe's had 1 for 2. Single last time up. A right-hand batter takes strike call over the inside corner. He didn't like the decision. Steps out of the batter's box and remonstrates briefly with plate umpire George Barr. Gordon looked at the 3rd strike in the 2nd inning. Single to left in the 4th and stole a base. Top of the 6th inning, no score. Larry Doby on second. Takes a big lead. Sain takes the stretch, checks his runner. Here's the pitch. It's a curve that's high for a ball. Johnny Sain has a peculiar motion. He takes that stretch and sort of whirls around back towards second. That forced Larry Doby, who had a wide lead, to go back to the bag, and then Sain comes back around and into the plate with it. It keeps the runner from taking too wide a lead. There's an attempted pickoff. A throw down to second. Back in there safely is Doby with a headlong slide. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Eddie Stanky took the throw from Johnny Sain, returns the ball to Big John. Joe Gordon, the batter. 1 away. Doby again takes his lead. Stretch by Sain to look back. Here's the pitch. Joe Gordon swings and fouls it back onto the screen. And the count now is 1 ball, 2 strikes on the flash. The outfield for Gordon, way around toward left. They play him as a full hitter. Infield shaded around toward third. Bob Elliott is deep at third, close to the line. Al Dark deep on the edge of the outfield grass. Over toward the third base hole slightly. Eddie Stanky about 3 strides to the right of second base as we look out onto the field. Earl Torgerson laying about 15 feet off the first base line in the halfway. Johnny Sain looks in to get his sign. Then he decides to step off the rubber. Goes to the rosin bag for a moment. Comes back upon the hill. Toes the slab. Joe Gordon, slightly open stance, awaits the pitch to count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here it is. Gordon swings and lets a fly ball out in the left center field. Converging over there are Rickard and Mike McCormick. Rickard Dunner makes the catch. Doby, halfway toward third, scoots back to second. There are 2 down. And the batter now is Kenny Keltner. Joe Gordon is retired by Johnny Sain on the fly ball to left center, which Marv Rickard took easily. And now Keltner steps up. A .298 hitter during the season, almost a .300 batter. Keltner singled to left in the 2nd inning for the first hit of the World Series. Struck out in the 4th. Always a dangerous man in that clutch. Johnny Sain with the stretch, throws. Keltner swings and fouls it back onto the screen behind the plate for a strike. The Indians have Larry Doby on second base in scoring position. It's a scoreless ball game, top half of the 6th inning. Keltner, who's a 6-foot, 180-pounder, hails from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He put the big blast on the Boston Red Sox in the playoff game at Fenway Park the other day when he hit a homer, following singles by Boudreau and Gordon. That was the big blow that touched off the Indians' pennant celebration a couple of hours later. Now the pitch. Keltner swings and lines one out to left center field. There's Rickard racing over under it and grabs it for the out. There was a tremendous liner to deep left center. Marv Rickard was laying back deep, raced to his left and grabbed the ball about 10 feet from the scoreboard. No runs for Cleveland. One hit. No errors for Boston, and one left on for the Indians. No score at the end of 5.5 innings of play. The score, Cleveland nothing, Braves nothing. Ask Joe DiMaggio of the New York Yankees, and he'd tell you his Gillette Super Speed razor is the most convenient shaving instrument he's ever used. Am I right, Joe?
Yes, Mel. But I'd add that it's also the easiest shaving razor I know about.
Well, coming from a tough, whiskered guy like you, Joe, that's a real praise. Give us more.
Well, that about tells the story. The razor gives me swell shave without fuss or bother. I've recommended it to plenty of fellows, and any number of them have thanked me for fitting them next to it.
Fans, take Joe DiMaggio's advice, will you? Get a Gillette Super Speed razor. The only razor that combines instant blade changing with supreme shaving comfort and double-edge economy. With a 10-blade Gillette dispenser, it's a regular $1.50 value for only $1. Coming into the last half of the sixth inning, scoreless ball game, and it's going to be Johnny Sain leading off for the Braves. That's him right-handed. Bobby Feller, who has limited the Braves to one hit over the first 5 innings, all set to work. Sain fouled out to first baseman Eddie Robinson in the third inning. Swings pretty good for a pitcher. Bob Feller throws. Sain swings and hits one on the ground out to short. Scooped up by Lou Boudreau. There's his throw over to Robinson in time. And there's one away for the Boston Braves in the last half of the sixth inning. Sain going after that first pitch, grounding out. Boudreau to Robinson. On a little low liner, 2 hops to Boudreau. We go to the top of the order now to pick up Tommy Holmes. Tommy flied to center and bounced out to Feller in the fourth inning, 0 for 2. And incidentally, of the 18 putouts for the Braves, 10 have been fly balls and pop-ups. Tommy Holmes, a left-hand hitter. Bobby Feller rocks in the box. Round comes the right arm to pitch. Fastball outside. Ball 1. Tommy is a Brooklyn boy. Used to be the property of the New York Yankees, who sold him to the Boston Braves. And become quite a star. Bobby Feller throws. The left-hand batter takes fastball low. Ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. Although Tommy is a left-hand hitter, they don't play him to pull too much. As a matter of fact, they shade him somewhat toward left. He hits that ball where it's pitched, slices a lot. Kenny Keltner laying in close at third. In the event of an attempted bunt, Lou Boudreau, who plays the shallowest shortstop of anyone we've ever seen anywhere, over near the bag at second. Here's your pitch. Outside. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Incidentally, the official scorers for the World Series, there are 3 of them. Ed Burns of the Chicago Tribune, who is national president of the Baseball Writers Association of America. Bert Whitman of the Boston Herald, representing the Boston contingent, and Ed McCauley of the Cleveland News, representing that end of the picture. Feller throws a pitch in there for a called strike. 3-1 the count now on Tommy. 1 down. Last half of the sixth inning, a scoreless ball game. And as anticipated, as expected, and almost, you might say, as advertised, it's been a pitcher's duel between Johnny Sain and Bobby Feller, 2 great right-handers. Rapid Robert into the windup, fires away. His pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen. Ball rolls up the screen, almost into the press box. So you have full count now on Tommy, 3-2. Feller goes to that Rosenbach, gives it a bit of a touch, stands with his back to the plate, looks around the outfield. Lou Boudreau walks around out at short. Lou hollers something to his pitcher. Kenny Keltner over there at third, kicks the dirt. Joe Gordon swings his arms around up over his head. He's laying about 2 strides off to the right at second base. Bobby Feller into the windup for the payoff pitch. Here it is. Tommy Holmes swings and fouls it off back of third, out of play. Going for it was Dale Mitchell, but he couldn't get anywhere near it. The left field foul line umpire, Joe Paparella of the American League, goes over to retrieve the ball. Billy Southworth coaching at third. Brave skipper walking up and down, wearing the number 30 in the back of his uniform. Hollers words of encouragement up to Tommy Holmes. Johnny Cooney coaching at first base. Bob Feller blows in his pitching hand. That's a pitching characteristic of his. Jimmy Hegan gives him the sign. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Last half, 6th inning, no score. Bob's into the windup. Around comes the right arm. Here's the payoff pitch. Holmes swings and sends a long fly ball to left field. Dale Mitchell backs up, whirls around, gets under the ball, makes the catch, and they're 2 away. Mitchell played that one beautifully. He got a look at the ball, went back, whirled around with his back to the ball, raced toward the wall about 10 feet, and then turned around and was set to make the catch. So with 2 down, up to the plate steps Alvin Dark. Dark grounded out to the first baseman in the first inning, Eddie Robinson. Was tossed out by Joe Gordon in the 4th inning on a hard smash. Alvin, a right-hand batter, wide open stance. Bob Feller throws, Dark swings and lifts a fly ball out into left center field. Here's Larry Doby digging in. He's under it, waiting now, and he makes the catch for the out. And thus the Boston Braves go out in order in the last half of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no Indian errors. Nobody left on for Boston. And the score at the end of 6 innings, Cleveland nothing, Boston nothing. With your 6-inning totals, Cleveland no runs, 4 hits, no errors. Boston no runs, 1 hit, 1 error. Before we go to the top of the 7th inning, friends, we pause 10 seconds for station identification. Your dial is set at 710, the spot for sports all year round. Your World Series station, WOR in New York. This is Mel Allen speaking to you once again from Braves Field in Boston, the first game of the 1948 World Series. Jimmy Britt and I have been having a wonderful time describing this scoreless pitchers duel with Johnny Sain and Bobby Feller baffling the hitters. Feller having given up 1 hit, Sain 4. And this broadcast going around the United States is also going around the world through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service to Uncle Sam's troops abroad. Wally Judnick up for the Cleveland Indians, swings and fouls the first pitch off to the right of the plate, strike 1. As we go to the top of the 7th inning, Judnick, a left-hand batter, line to right field in the 2nd inning and fly to right field in the 4th. Right-hander Johnny Sain all set, fires away. The pitch is swung on. There's a good fly ball hit out into right field. Tommy Holmes is getting under it deep, makes the catch about 10 feet from the bullpen barrier and about 20 feet off the right field line. Judnick seems to have the range, but unable to get the distance. That's the 3rd time that he's gone out to right field. Lined out and has skied out twice. And now we have Eddie Robinson stepping in. Grounded out to Earl Torgerson in the 2nd inning and flied to right in the 5th. A scoreless ball game. Robinson steps in. The outfield toward right. Bob Elliott laying about 10 feet off the 3rd baseline and quarter of the way back toward the outfield grass. Johnny Sain delivers. Robinson swings and hits a high pop-up foul back of first. Torgerson going for it, can't get it. The ball is out of play, going into the stands in behind the Cleveland dugout, which is located behind first base. The home team, the Boston Braves dugout, of course, located between home plate and 3rd base. Sain checks with Salkel, gets his sign. He's into the windup. Round comes the right arm. The pitch. Fastball swung on, hit high into the air, out into short right field. Tommy Holmes comes in under the ball, taps his glove 3 times, makes the catch. And they're 2 down for the Cleveland Indians in the top of the 7th. I don't know how long this can go on, but as long as it goes on, we'll be here. The wind is blowing in, incidentally, from the outfield toward home plate. I think that Jim Britt may bear me out in this. That's a characteristic of Braves Field, Charles River that blows by out there. The wind's always blowing in. Now here's Jimmy Hegan, right-hand batter. Johnny Sain ready. Comes in with a fastball that swung on, lined out into short left center, coming fast to Mike McCormick, makes the catch. And that's all for the Indians in the top of the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on, and all the Braves fans are up and yelling in the last half of the 7th inning. The score, Cleveland nothing, Boston nothing. Joe DiMaggio of the New York Yankees said a mouthful last inning when he told you that the modern Gillette Super Speed Razor is the easiest shaving and most convenient razor he knows about. Men, with this improved razor, you change blades instantly, enjoy superlative shaves, and have the added advantage of double-edge economy. Twist, the razor opens for the blade. Zip, it's loaded. Twist again, and you're all set. There's nothing to take apart or put together, nothing to jam or clog, and what's more, you don't have to be a locksmith to make it work. Cleaning is a cinch, too. Just loosen the razor slightly, rinse, and shake. Now, you get the razor plus a 10-blade Gillette dispenser, a regular $1.50 value, for only $1. Buy one and see what modern shaving comfort and convenience are like. Last half of the seventh inning. Scoreless ball game. The thousands out here today, predominantly Boston partisans, standing up last half of the seventh inning for that seventh inning stretch. And now we're ready to go in the last half of the seventh inning with Earl Torgerson leading off for Boston, to be followed by Bob Elliott and then Mar Bricker. It's a scoreless game. Bob Feller on the hill, realizing one of his lifetime ambitions, that is to have the opportunity to pitch in a World Series game, is into the windup. Here's the pitch to the left-hand batter, and he tries a bunt and misses. Strike one. Earl Torgerson, who's a pretty fast man, tried to bunt that ball down the third baseline and beat it out, but he never got close to it. As a matter of fact, he just threw his bat at the ball, hoping to push it down the line. It was unsuccessful in the attempt. They realized that Bobby's a pretty rough customer to handle, the way he's hopping off those curves and getting his fastball working today. They're trying to bunt to get on. Now the pitch is swung on. A good shot rammed. A great backhand stop by Robinson. A throw to Feller, and a put out at first base on a tremendous play.